Time for big horsepower and big hair.
You're watching Monster Truck Attitude.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Week 3 of Thursday Night Thunder for the November season here tonight as we've got 8 of the best diecast monster trucks ready to rip up the arena floor for all you great fans watching at home. Tonight we're going to find out if the Iceman, Jeffrey Skipper, inside of Monster Energy, the brand new truck, is going to hang on to that championship flag. Again, 8 of the best trucks are going to be throwing it down in the arena here tonight on this wild and crazy course, and we're getting ready to get things kicked off with round 1 competition here tonight. And coming up to the line first, we're going to be seeing the return of the one and only Braden Varga in the Donkey Kong machine, as we saw him a few years back. He hasn't been around in quite a few years, so right now he's getting ready to take on Violet Craddock inside of the Monster Mutt Poodle. Always a top threat out here on the MTA floor. We're going to see who's moving on in the semifinal action as we get set to go green, and down the straightaway they go. The Mutt got the whole shot, but Donkey Kong making a comeback now on the big end of the track, and Varga tags the wall. The Donkey Kong machine looks like it picks up a win here tonight inside of round 1 action as we go back down and check out your MTA replay. And again, Monster Mutt got the whole shot, but right here as they come up and over the first jump, Braden Varga and Donkey Kong settles it down inside of no man's land and pulls out a big time win here tonight inside of round 1 competition. Now coming up next to the line in our round 1 matchups, it's the return of Jimmy Bones Ferguson in that nice looking 57 Chevy Avenger, ready to throw down against Matthew Hood, the new kid on the block, in the all new Maniac. He's had that truck out here a couple of times before, hasn't quite gotten it dialed in. We'll see what he's got against Avenger. Ford and Chevrolet matchup. There's the green light now, and Maniac had the lead, but here comes Avenger now. Jimmy Ferguson unable to come up with it on the big end of the track, as it looks like Matthew Hood inside a Maniac will get the win here tonight over the bow tie in Avenger. What a great matchup it was as we go back down and check out your MTA replay. Right here, down that straight stretch, Maniac has a slight lead, but Avenger trying to play catch up on him, unable to get the job done, and Matthew Hood will find himself in semifinals ready to take on the Donkey Kong machine. And next up here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the Monster Mutt returns with Spanky behind the wheel out of the Uncle Shaggy School of Driving as he gets set now to go one-on-one with 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐿𝐽 in the Classroom Crusher, who made his MTA debut just a couple of weeks ago and won his debut matchup out here on Smashdown. We'll see if he can do it again here tonight on Thunder. Staged, here's the green light now. Monster Mutt and Classroom Crusher with a rough start now. Monster Mutt with the lead, but here comes the Crusher now on the inside lane, and 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐿𝐽 will tag the wall in the shutdown area, but he had a rough start there at the top of the track as Spanky held a good lead on him down the straightaway. As we go back and check out the MTA replay here, as you see on that straight stretch, Monster Mutt has a good lead, but here comes the Classroom Crusher now on the inside, and 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐿𝐽 pulls out a come from behind victory here tonight over Spanky inside of the Monster Mutt. What a dandy matchup it was as Classroom Crusher advances. Next up in round 1, it's time for the punk with all the junk. Jeremy Hiles returns inside of an Escalade. He's going to go one-on-one with the defending Thursday Night Thunder champion, the Iceman, Jeffrey Skipper, in the all-new Monster Energy, trying to hang on to that flag. Here's the green light now in the final round showdown of round 1. Escalade's got a lead. Skipper now trying to come back over. He goes. What a ride for the Iceman. What an amazing rollover on the other side of the track as Escalade looks like he picked up a round 1 victory here tonight over the reigning champion, the Iceman, in all kinds of trouble on the far end of the track. As we go back down and check out the replay, Escalade has a lead on him on the inside lane. Skipper noses over hard right there inside of the no man's land section of the track and kind of cartwheels the brand new Monster Energy just before the finish line. What a matchup it was, and what a crash for the Iceman. And right now, the MTA track crew and officials down there to roll him back over. Unfortunately, he will lose the flag inside of round 1 here tonight. Looks like he snapped off the left front knuckle of the truck. And an amazing crash here tonight. The fans love it, but Skipper and team have a lot of work to do. The Renegades will be thrashing on that truck here tonight, and he loses the championship flag, and we're going to see a new champion crowned later on, ladies and gentlemen. What a matchup. But before we get to semifinal action, we want to take you down to our trivia question of the day, and it's going to be, what year did Monster Jam debut the Raging Steel Monster Truck? And again, leave your answer down in the comment section below of this video. But what year did Monster Jam debut the Raging Steel Monster Truck? And now that we know we're going to crown an all-new champion here tonight, here's how semifinal action is going to be breaking down. Braden Varga returns at Donkey Kong to take on Matthew Hood inside of Maniac. And then the Classroom Crusher returns to take on Jeremy Hiles and an Escalade. And right now, coming up to the line, Matthew Hood coming back inside of the all-new Maniac machine. He's going to be taking on Braden Varga in the Donkey Kong. Again, we haven't seen him in quite a few years. He is now back and finds himself in semifinal action against Maniac. Who's going to the finals? Here's the green light now as Donkey Kong takes on the Maniac. They're side by side down the straightaway, and Donkey Kong will pull out a win as he tags the other trucks inside of the shutdown area. But Matthew Hood put up a good fight right there inside of the Maniac. But Donkey Kong coming back with a vengeance here as we look at the MTA replay. He has a slight lead on Maniac as they go up and over the first jump, settle it down here in no man's land, and Donkey Kong getting the job done by about a truck length and a half here tonight over the Maniac. So right now we're going to find out who meets Donkey Kong in that final round showdown as 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 returns inside of the Classroom Crusher, now set to take on an Escalade. Again, the punk with all the junk, former two-time Thunder champion Jeremy Hiles in an Escalade. He's now staged on the right-hand side of your screen. Classroom Crusher on the left. Here's the green light now. Who's going to the final side by side down the straightaway? A good matchup through no man's land, and over goes an Escalade. Jeremy Hiles will turn the truck over, much like we saw Iceman do earlier tonight when an Escalade beat him in round one. But right now, Classroom Crusher looks like he gets the bid to move into the final round showdown. We go back and look at the replay here. They were pretty much even up and over the first jump here. Right now, inside of no man's land, Jeremy Hiles in an Escalade gets a little squirrely, puts it on two wheels. He tried to drive out of it, but it was all Classroom Crusher taking home a big-time win here tonight. So he will be in the final round showdown. And all these great matchups here tonight, it has finally come down to two trucks remaining. And we're going to see Classroom Crusher, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞, the new kid on the block, get ready to take on returning veteran Braden Varga inside of Donkey Kong. We haven't seen him since about 2021, and he finds himself in the final round showdown looking to notch his very first victory in the Donkey Kong belt here tonight. However, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 in the Classroom Crusher made his MTA debut just a couple of weeks ago, got a big-time win. We'll see what he can do here tonight on Thunder. It's the final round showdown, Donkey Kong and Classroom Crusher. It's showtime here tonight. Down the straightaway they go. Classroom Crusher with the lead on him. Here comes Donkey Kong trying to come back, and both of them make contact and tag the wall in the shutdown area. What a matchup, but Classroom Crusher pulls out a win here tonight over the Donkey Kong machine. We're going to go back down and check out the MTA replay. They were pretty even down that straightaway. Slight lead to Classroom Crusher on the inside. Braden Varga and Donkey Kong trying to make up the ground now on the outside. Almost comes up with it, losing by about 3/4 of a truck, and again making contact in that shutdown area. But right now, your champion here tonight, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 in the Classroom Crusher. And ladies and gentlemen, he pulls out his first victory on Thursday Night Thunder, much like he did on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago. That kid's going to be a major threat in future events to come. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on Thursday Night Thunder. We hope you had a great time with us. Be sure, as always, if you have not already, crush that subscribe button, and we'll catch you down the road. I don't think Gary showed up again. Where is he?